YouTube. So this is day 5 of the 30-day challenge. In yesterday's video, I went for a list of things that you shouldn't be looking at buying if you're a new content creator or a new streamer. The list consisted of things like the Elgato Stream Deck, the GoXLR, XLR microphones, anything like that. In today's video, I'm going to go through possibly cheaper alternatives that you might want to look at instead. A lot of them have the same functions, do the same thing as the more expensive alternatives, but if you're looking to do streaming or content creation on a budget, I personally would go for something more like this. So the first thing I'd look at is, rather than getting the GoXLR and an XLR microphone, I'd personally go for something more simple, like even the Razer Siren. It's a £40 microphone. It has all the functionality of any other microphone would, and in my opinion is the best value for money microphone you can buy. It is a USB microphone, so it's a simple plug and play. You don't need any additional hardware for it to work, and it's only £40. Now, the next thing I'd look at, if you were to go slightly more expensive and you wanted something closer to the Stream Deck, the best option you've got is the Elgato Wave 3. Now, in terms of the software and the functionality of the microphone, it is as close as you are going to get to a GoXLR. Now, the software itself is very in-depth. You can do a lot of things with the microphone itself, but it is a fraction of the price, and it is also a USB microphone, so again, no additional hardware to be able to use it. Now, the next thing we're talking about is the camera. Personally, I would stay away from any DSLRs or any mirrorless cameras when you're first starting out. Look at something more like a webcam. Perfect option, which a lot of streamers and YouTubers use to start with, and a lot still are using, is the Logitech C920. I used the camera for years, and yes, it doesn't give you the best picture quality, but at the same time, on a budget, it is the best option you can have. For £70, you get a standard plug and play. You can always add things like filters and alerts when you are in the OBS software. So you can get the camera looking really good. Another option, if you are looking to spend a bit more money, would be the Logitech Brio. Say 4K webcam. Again, plug and play. You can make it look really good. Personally, I would stick with the C920 just for the price. Now, the next thing we looked at was the Stream Deck. Now, personally, I think the Stream Decks are brilliant for what they are, but there are always cheaper options. Elgato themselves have noticed that obviously the Stream Deck can be quite expensive, so they have released their own mobile version of this. Now, the mobile version works in exactly the same way as a normal Stream Deck would, but a fraction of the price. The cost of the mobile version is £25, I believe, for a year. You can do almost exactly the same things. It still works with OBS. Now, it has the same functions as a standard Stream Deck, but it doesn't have obviously the physical appearance of it. You would need to sacrifice your phone while using it, or if possible, use a spare phone or a tablet or anything like that. It works with all Android and iOS products. Now, the other option you've got is you could go with the Stream Deck Mini. It's only 6 buttons, but it is again cheaper than the original Stream Deck. Although it's only got 6 buttons, because you can add folders on that, you still have an infinite amount of buttons there and functionality. It may just take longer to get to where you need to. But yeah, it's definitely a better choice than buying the normal size, or especially the XL. Now, the next thing we looked at was lighting. Obviously, if you were looking to spend a lot of money, stick with the Elgato brand. Go for something like their key lights, their ring lights, but personally I think the price of these are ridiculous for what they are. I mean, lighting's lighting. You can do that on a budget quite easily. What I've done for lighting is, on Amazon, I've got hold of 2 key lights from Newer. Now, they're £57 for 2. They work exactly the same way. You have a dimmer function. You'll be able to use it on your lighting, do whatever you want with it, but at a fraction of the price that the Elgatos are. The lighting themselves, although can be harsh, if you angle it slightly, would work just as well. It's what I'm currently using in this room. For a ring light, definitely stay away from Elgatos. You can go for something cheap like a £10 ring light that you could prop up behind your monitor, light on your face. Again, this is pretty much the identical one that I'm currently using. The lighting still works fine. It has a dimmer function, so you'll be able to make it as bright as you want or as dim as you want. And then if you are looking to go one step further with the lighting and put some color in the background of your room, firstly I'd look at getting something like this. It's just an RGB floodlight, sit behind you, light up the room behind, give you a bit of color in your room. It does give a better effect than just having the plain room behind you. It also takes away some of the things behind you, so if you don't have the best setup behind you and the best background, then these lights work perfectly in taking away from that. And also, if you are looking to go one step further, which I've done as well, I'd go for the Ovi RGB IC LED strips. I've stuck the lights across the ceiling all the way around. The functionality you have with it, with the mobile app on there, you can change them to any color you want. You can set up different scenes, you can set up different functions, you can have them almost do anything you can think of, and they do also help light the room. With them above me, especially set to white, it does give an additional top-down glow, and for the money they are definitely by far the best RGB LEDs you can buy. Now the next thing we looked at was the green screen, and again, staying away from Elgato's prices just due to how expensive they can be. Personally, I'd go again for Amazon. I'd go for something simple like this. In my opinion, something like that would work better just because of the functionality and the fact that you can fold it down and pop it back up whenever needed. It's really easy to use. If you are looking to go for something a little bit bigger, any of these green cloths work exactly the same as the Elgato does. What I've done to make it a bit different is I used an old roller blind, taken off the old roller blind itself, taped a green bit of fabric to it instead, and I've attached it to the ceiling of this room. Now I don't use the green screen, but it is there if I ever did want to. It rolls down like a standard roller blind and rolls back up so it's out of the way. Now in terms of things like PCs or keyboard and mice, again that's personal preference. For the PC itself, I'd look at a minimum of a 1060 graphics card, just purely because that's about the minimum level you want to go to be able to still function games while streaming or recording. But again, that's personal preference and that is entirely down to your own budget. Keyboard and mouse, again, up to you. That will all depend on your budget again. Obviously you can spend as much as you want, as little as you want. A keyboard and mouse essentially does the same thing, so get whatever fits your budget whenever you're spending it. And then finally, things like monitors, minimum 1080p, just so that it has the same level of quality that you'd like to look at while gaming or doing whatever it is you want. You don't need to have anything ridiculously expensive. The main monitor I'm currently using cost me £180 5 years ago. I could probably get this monitor now secondhand for about £20. Talking of secondhand, if you are looking to build a budget setup, I would say that going secondhand is probably your best option in terms of best value for money, especially when it comes to PCs, monitors, keyboard, mouse. All of that is going to be a lot better if you were to go secondhand. Now I understand having new products and brand new items that come to your house is always a nicer feeling than buying secondhand, but if you were to go for the secondhand option, if you were to look at pre-owned items, the value for money with that is going to be so much higher. The total cost of the cheaper options would work out around £250 if you went with the Razer Siren Mini, the Logitech C920 webcam, the Elgato mobile version, and the same lighting, all three lighting, as well as a £20 green screen. You're looking at a total of about 250. If you are looking to spend a bit more for those items and go for something like the Elgato Wave 3, the Logitech Brio, the Elgato Stream Deck Mini, same lighting, you're looking at then around £400. Now you might think that the additional money is worth it, but the only thing like there I would spend the additional money on would be the microphone for the Elgato Wave 3, just for the functionality. But if you are looking to go proper budget on this and go as cheap as possible, the Razer Siren Mini is by far the best value for money microphone on the market right now. But that's the setup done. With all that bought, you can start streaming or making content. There are some things in there that you don't possibly need, things like the Stream Deck software or some of the lighting you may not need. Personally, I'd say get some lighting just so that it's worth buying the camera to show your face. Other than that, the budget is up to you. How much you want to spend, how little you want to spend will depend on what you do buy. As a small content creator or a streamer, at the beginning, unfortunately, you're not going to get a mass amount of views. Your setup can build over time the same way that your viewership would. At the beginning, as long as you're posting content or you're streaming, it's a start. It's the same with your setup. It's a start and it does build over time. Obviously, all these suggestions are my opinion. Like I said, these are what I would buy if I was starting from new. If you like the video, or if you've got anything else to ask, please subscribe. Come to the next video. We'll be posting another video tomorrow. We'll be posting a new video every day this month. The subjects will roughly be around the same sort of things: streaming, gaming, content creation. There might be the odd one that isn't about that. For the most part, that's what this channel is looking to be. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.